the information that they gave out, it doesn't look like there's any evidence that Sebastian left that house that they know of. So is Sebastian in the house? Is he still in the house? Did authorities, originally when you do like a missing person report, like if you call the police or authorities, sheriff, and you report a loved one missing, when police originally come out and take the report, do they do a thorough check inside your own home? Like, do they look in the walls, the attic, the basement, cupboards, old freezers? Do they look in those types of places inside someone's home? Because here's what's really interesting to me about Katie Proudfoot. Katie Proudfoot, a.k.a. Katie Lynn Payne, that's her original last name, Payne. She had an incident years back in Escambia County, Florida, by the way. She was involved with an accident, an auto accident. I'm trying to get a little bit of details. She was cited for it. We're going to try to get some details on that. And Mr. Proudfoot, Christopher Proudfoot, are in the military, reserves, veterans. But I want to show you the LinkedIn profile to Katie Proudfoot. Katie Proudfoot. And this is the LinkedIn profile. And her profile says that she is a home installation technician, Brinks Home. Let me show you this. Folks. We're going to show you this. This is the LinkedIn profile to Katie Proudfoot, the mother of Sebastian, the last known person to be with Sebastian. And it says home installation. So that's a key word, and it catches me a little bit. Brinks Home Security. And she's been doing it for since 2020, October 2020. Installation, programming, repair, inspection of fire alarm systems, burglaries, and CCT. So she knows about surveillance systems and securities and installation, going in walls and putting things in houses. And then it says her prior bio, it says interior communications electrician for the U.S. Navy. For the U.S. Navy, folks. Interior communications electrician. So you have a woman who was last seen with Sebastian. That's the last person to see Sebastian alive. The mom. No other sightings. She's an electrician, experience as an electrician, and Brinks Security. What does that tell you? Well, that's her expertise. It's what she was trained to do in the military. Has authorities actually got a warrant and thoroughly searched the inside of their Hendersonville home? Have you guys heard of any warrants inside the home? Now, even if they did it now, and if they didn't do it, and maybe they did and we don't know about it, might be too late. Originally, take the report while everyone's out, get rid of the body. And I'm saying this as if my assumption is Sebastian is not alive. It would be a miracle if he was found alive, or if he just popped up out of the blue. It would be he would defy all odds. Thank you. Somebody said for lunch. Ethel, thank you. He would literally be the miracle child of all miracle childs. Now, when I think of the case, what do you think about when you think about where Harmony Montgomery was put in for a while? What do you think about? Makes me wonder, did Sebastian never leave that home? Might be gone now because you have a 2-week head start in a sense, even though police are watching and everything like that. But you're talking about two people that are in the military and know a lot about that type of technology and that type of work. He's a crane operator, according to his LinkedIn bio. You know what I mean? Like, if there's no trace of Sebastian leaving the house, then maybe he's still in the house. Or maybe he was put in the house while the report was taken, and then while resources or authorities are out there searching, the opportunity to put the body inside the garage, because we showed the house. Garage is on the side of the house. No scent makes me feel like maybe he was in there when he was reported missing. Maybe Sebastian was already in that house when he was reported missing. In a wall, in a freezer, in a basement. Do they have cupboards? Do they have attics? What's the inside of the house look like? What's the inside of the house look like? You think Sebastian is still alive? You think the mom is innocent? Not a shed of tear of the mother, Katie? I didn't see her on TV shedding tears. I saw a lot of nervousness when she did that one interview days later. You know, one of that reporter that just interviewed the biological dad said something very interesting. It's like he offered to speak to Christopher, and Christopher was about to talk to him, and then Christopher just ghosted him. And the reporter said, you would think if your child is missing, he's kind of throwing shade at Christopher. You would think if the father was missing, you would use every single platform available to get the message out, to get your stepson, Katie's son, out there so the world can see. But she does an interview, they do an interview, which was sketchy in my book. Behavioral analysis, we should get the behavioral team or Dr. Phil or those people to really evaluate her body language, because I seen lots of red flags. I didn't see any tears. I saw she already knows the outcome in her face. She already knows the outcome. There was no level of urgency. She was just talking about memories of Sebastian, what he likes and what he doesn't like, but wouldn't give key details. Nothing. I seen it cold. But the question I have is Christopher involved? Did he orchestrate this? Is it connected to his case out there in New Mexico? Or is this Katie's doing, and Katie drawed Christopher into this, and maybe that long phone call, that 2-hour phone call they allegedly had, Christopher's instructing Katie on what to do and how to proceed here. Like, I mean, they're not dumb people. They actually look like they're successful. They live in a $600,000 home. I don't see judgments or anything like criminal-wise that's serious on both of them. I mean, like a $600,000 home. They have a nice home out there in a nice community. Military. It seems like, according to the stepfather Christopher, they have a disciplinary lifestyle. We bought the hot sauce today. It's all right. This morning here. But so is Christopher going to put his neck out on the line? His multiple marriages and, with his soulmate, and go to bat for her if he's really not involved? And out of the group, I think the mother at this point, with some of the information Chef released and the kind of the timeline, I think the mother's the prime suspect. The prime suspect is Katie. Now, Katie has kind of that Susan Smith look. Katie has kind of like that Susan Smith look. And she had the audacity to go cameo on TV. She hadn't searched. What would you do if your loved one was missing? We've discussed this numerous times with missing people cases where parents then end up doing it. What's their behavior? If your child was missing, wouldn't you be taking photos and going door to door, knocking all over, putting on all your bug spraying out there in the woods, all day, 24, not stop, every single day, put out there about your child and bring awareness and go on every single platform possibly, An innocent person would do that. An innocent person wouldn't care what people think. You notice the stepdad's all saying stuff like, oh yeah, there's a lot of rumors and speculation. Just stick with the facts. And there's something going on here, folks. There's something going on here between Christopher and Katie. Did they sign a pact together on this? And keep in mind, folks, the already lies that he wandered off out of the house took time and resources. The law enforcement were out there looking all that time, like a smoke and mirrors, a wild goose chase. Gave them time. I think the mother is the prime suspect. I think the father has definitely, not the father, the stepfather, the biological father, Seth, I feel his pain. He was about to get custody of this child and raise this child. Seth had an opportunity to work law enforcement. Do something inspiring. Overcome the challenges. He has autism. He probably overcame those challenges. Looked happy. Probably could have been a totally productive person. Katie. Something inspiring. Overcome the challenges. He has autism. He probably overcame those challenges. Looked happy. Probably could have been a totally productive person. Katie. If Katie's watching, and I know Christopher Proudfoot watches because he responded to that. You know, he responded the other day. What was that reporter? Here, look, let me show you. This was posted in a group. This was an interesting, let me show you. Let me get it out. Give me 1 second. Let me see. Going through our data. No, might not have it. But Christopher responded to that. I guess his name was, who was the reporter that interviewed Seth? He responded and said something about, I'll answer your hard questions, or something about his hard questions. You guys seen that? You seen that comment? It was posted in a group. But it's just, it's sad, man. It's really, really sad. Here you go. Here you go, right here. I'm going to spin this around. So a guy named Nick Barris, NC5, I guess he's very a good investigative journalist. He interviewed Seth, and it says, like, this is a group. It said, I find it odd that he would comment on Nick Barris's NC5 Live, but has otherwise been mostly quiet. And Chris responded on that live feed of Nick Barris and said, what is the hard question you want to ask? So he's watching. He's watching, but he's ducking. He's ducking. He's ducking. He wants softball questions. He wants softball questions. But if you ask him the hard questions, no. He's not going to do that. It's because Nick was basically like, yo, we were about to talk. You're about to give an interview and you ghost. You ghosted me.
This was a post made. Emergency, please check. Please, if anyone has a camera, please check it between midnight and 6. My son is missing, blah, blah, blah. 5'5", blonde hair, autistic male. That's the description that was given, okay? No clothing or anything, just 5'5", blonde hair, autistic male. And then what's interesting, though, is the comment underneath it. It says, my camera did not show anything last night. I'm on Kellen. And I will show you the relation to Kellen to where his house is in a second, okay? But this is where the story takes a turn that kind of puts me where JB is, and it might, JB, give you a little merit to the way you're thinking, okay? The missing young man from Hendersonville, but I'm no detective. Someone said, stepdad. Yep. He threatened to shoot our news crew Tuesday. Then went and made threats towards Channel 4 crew. Dang, why is the news not mentioning any of these people? That's what I couldn't understand. That's why I started digging. He came out to the roadway and said, my house better not be on the news tonight. And this person said, that's crazy. So apparently, from what I gather about this stepdad, okay, So the boy lives with his mom and his stepdad, and his real dad is involved with law enforcement in a certain law enforcement agency. Okay. But this stepdad, apparently, from the rumor around town, okay, now mind you, this is all people talking about how they know him, blah, blah, blah. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. But a lot of times the salt tastes like salt, like it's supposed to. The rumor is this guy, the stepdad, is super nasty, super mean, super rude, just like he's threatening. He's just not a nice man. So when you pair what you're hearing with the fact that in 6 days they have not found him, he's not been seen on any camera, nothing like that, you got to kind of start to wonder, is this maybe more than just a missing person? Would you agree?
I would agree, because I mean that the neighborhood where he lived. Granted, we were looking at the area immediately around it, and there are a lot of woods. There's a lot of hills. There's a lot of valleys right there. I mean, immediately outside of this subdivision type, if that's what you want to call it. But it's not. It's a lot of it, but it's not as massive as you would expect if they were going to spend 6 days looking, right? They probably scoured that area the first day, or maybe the first and second day. And for beyond that, there's a lot of subdivisions again. And, just the idea that this kid has not been seen on camera, and the fact that nobody has mentioned how his description is known in terms of what he was wearing, that he, the specifics of he had a flashlight. They haven't said that came from home, their own personal ring camera or their personal security system. And it's just, it really does make you question a lot and make you wonder a lot and think about a lot related to it, because it doesn't make any sense really that he's just wandered off. It's just hard to kind of swallow that after this much time.
Right, and now
Something would have, you know what I mean? This kid is not. He's not trained by the the military intelligence bureaus to hide.
Would 100% think that ring cam would pick up a car.
Yeah. And
as many as there are in that neighborhood, a car, when they say he left at 12 something, somebody would have a car driving through that neighborhood on a camera.
Yeah. And I mean, it's
Not if the parents' car left that property at 6:30 Friday night.
well,
We don't have any idea that he was alive from Saturday to Monday.
no, but she's just going down.
Right,
The road
I'm going down the road
following
of-
the story that they gave, and
Right.
kind of
I'm sorry.
debunking
I'm
that.
sorry.
And by now, someone would have been like, hey, this car comes in here at 12 something, and they would be looking into that, right? So now that they're going back to the afternoon, maybe that will get somewhere. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll see more or see something.
Well, and I mean, the other piece of it for me is, so if he took this flashlight with him, and it's after midnight, shortly after midnight, Sunday night, there's not a lot of street lights in this area, right? So he's gonna use that flashlight. Now, even if the camera wouldn't pick him up just walking, I promise you they'd pick up that flashlight.
Yeah.
And there's no way he was walking around and not using it.
I don't think there's street lights out there. If it's
That
like
flashlight
here.
would be a good thing you would need to hide the body.
Well, and that's, she and I were talking, and I'm like, I mean, unfortunately, I feel like when they find him, they're going to find him and that flashlight, and it's not going to be because he ran off with it, right? Like you said, I mean, it's, a situation where somebody did something and they left that with him, wherever they left him. But hopefully that's not the case. But, I mean, I have a hard time thinking that he's just wandering around the area at this point, considering the amount of searching that they're doing and have been doing.
Not hiding in something close to his house that he's familiar with, then he's unfortunately, I suspect, passed away. And I am overwhelmed by the feeling that it happened in that house. His trouble started in that house. Not because he walked outside barefoot with a flashlight. I don't think that that's real. And I just can't accept that because of the information that's being given and the lack of information and what they're not telling us. If with this nonsense, how is it you don't look for this poor kid from Friday forward? I don't care if he wasn't in school from Wednesday forward, then you should start with Wednesday forward, not follow what the parents are telling you, because obviously that has netted no results. The information they gave you is useless. 5 days of all these days of searching, 5 miles of looking. Where is this boy? Right? Am I wrong? Is it hard not to see the parents as involved?
No,
No.
It's I mean, if you're just laying the cards out on the table and looking at things as they are, it's impossible not to look at that situation and chase that as a possibility, because it is a very viable possibility, right?
Especially since the parents have been very quiet. Like, I think they made their first post on Facebook like yesterday.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even, not the parents, right? It's the mom and the stepdad. One of the camera people saying he threatened to shoot our news crew. And then something about he made a threat to someone else saying, my house better not be on the internet tonight. Come at me, bro. That's all I gotta say to you, because the stepfather said that. Like, you can come at me. I'm about 15 minutes from you. Come at me.
So there's a stepfather, a mother, and a father, all within the perimeter of this kid's life.
Well,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let me finish.
Well, if we're looking at someone lured him out, right? And I could see the kid saying, if I put on my shoes, they'll hear me. And they just the father saying, well, just come outside. You don't need your shoes. We'll buy you a new pair. Someone lured him out of the house, and or something tragic happened to him, and the parents have to have some knowledge of that, the ones that he lived with.
Nick has been putting out good info. I've got aware of him for the very first time a couple of days ago. Couldn't think of his name offhand. Takes me a while to remember somebody's name. Nick. Yeah, he does put out good info. And you want those investigative journalists that go in the trenches, and they're down there in the area looking into this matter. Bro, where's Sebastian? I hear you. Where's Sebastian? Where is he, Katie? This is a plea out to Katie. You know, everybody's watching on JLR Investigates. We got 1,200 people in here. So Katie's going to see this. Katie's family or somebody needs to come up and share the truth here and do what's right. If Christopher is the lesser of two evils here, he needs to do what's right. Somebody needs to come forward and do what's right and stop wasting law enforcement's time, because it's only a matter of time. And the more resources that you waste for law enforcement, sending them out on goose chases and just holding the community hostage, the worse it's going to be. If it was an accident, share it was an accident. If it was deliberate, accept the responsibility. But stop playing games. The charges are already there. Lying to law enforcement, setting up the goose case, even if it was an accident. Some people speculate that Sebastian maybe took some medications or some sort of bad food or had something. Because remember, folks, I don't think they have found any evidence in that house of any blood, of any foul play in that house. It's just, a kid just doesn't vanish. A kid just doesn't vanish, ladies and gentlemen. So where is this? And a kid just doesn't vanish on their own. No sightings in the area? Nah. They have a lot of technology and resources. They covered that ground area. He's not there. So where is he? What was that phone call that Christopher and Katie had? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Calm down. This is what you need to do. Blah, 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 blah. See, Chris is probably already into it, up to his eyeballs. Oh my God. Or was there something very more sinister, that this was all plotted and planned and carried out, like they executed the plot? I don't know. Chris has stuff going on. Like I said, Chris has stuff going on in New Mexico. Witness list. She's trying to get the other kid. Maybe Sebastian was a witness to something. But would Katie do that to her own son for Chris? Then I'm hearing rumors about the strain in the relationship the child was between those two. Because remember, the stepdad comes in and takes the stepdad role. But we're trying to figure this out. We're going to keep bringing awareness. We're going to come up with theories and speculations. We're going to talk. We're going to share what keeps transpiring with this case, the newest developments. It's going to be a cloud around Katie Proudfoot and Christopher for the rest of their lives until this case gets solved. If they think this is going to go away, they're hugely mistaken. They're hugely mistaken, especially when the internet gets involved. And there is a lot of internet involved because there's many, many groups about this. There's some local journalists that actually are doing the work there. So just pray too.